Hey friends, welcome to another video. It's Joan here, or Sojo, and today, I'm so excited for this video. We're gonna be making an embroidered Spider-Man hoodie. I watched No Way Home. I've been a big fan of Spider-Man since the Tobey days. So I thought, why not make something that I can keep close to myself and it reminds me of the wonderful things of Spider-Man. So we're making an embroidered hoodie, all DIY. I'm gonna show you guys how I did it. And yeah, maybe you guys can follow along. Let me know if you guys like it. Let's just get into it. So first off, I started by grabbing all the logos of the 3 Spider-Man, kind of spacing it out, and then printing that out onto paper. So my idea is to have all 3 logos basically on the chest of the hoodie. We're gonna embroider all that on. So I'm gonna be using an embroidery hoop, which I've got here, but since it doesn't fit in the whole hoop, I'm just gonna focus on each logo at a time. But this design here is kind of how I want the spacing to be on the hoodie. Before we can start embroidering, we do have to set up the hoop. So you're gonna take the inside of the hoop, put it underneath your design where you're going to embroider, make sure that's in the middle of the hoop, and then we're gonna take the outside hoop and press it over. Make sure you tighten the hoop and also the fabric that you are embroidering on. It just makes it all the more easier. Before we can get started on embroidering, we do have to get our thread ready. So I'm just taking some embroidery string, putting it through the eye of a big needle, it could be an embroidery needle, and then just cut that, tie a knot on the end of it, and that's your embroidery thread. Once we have that, we're gonna start embroidering. So my plan was to first outline all the logos and then afterwards take off the paper template and then fill everything in. For the outline, I did a simple back stitch. So you go out of the hoodie, back in, and then your next stitch, you go back out, forward of head of the last stitch you made. And when you put it back in, it's to the front of the last stitch. So with the outlining, I just followed the paper template, tried to keep all my stitches around the same size, and just outlined. I think the hard part about this is that when you're putting the needle back up, you don't really know where it's gonna go. So I kind of just poked around until it kind of looked like it was coming out the template where I wanted to come out, pushed it through, and just kept going. One tip as well to keep in mind when you're embroidering around smooth corners is to make your stitches a little bit smaller just to make it look smoother and not like a harsh edge. And then I basically just continued embroidering around the whole logo until I was finished. At some point, the paper did get a bit ripped up since it wasn't really tightened along with the fabric, but I kind of just estimated where I was stitching, did my best to try to keep lines straight and even and together, because afterwards we can fix it. Once you run out of string, you just want to make a knot, double knot it if you'd like, and then you can just cut it off and then start again with new string.
She doesn't appear to have any but we need someone who is... If you need to learn how to talk to a lady.
Alright, moment of truth to see how this turned out. We're not obviously done with it. We still have to fill in everything, but this is just for the outline. Alright, so I'm basically just gonna rip the paper off and then take it out, and then we'll see how it looks. I realized that a few of the strings are kind of loose, and I feel like that's just due to me not pulling the embroidery thread tight enough, but also my hoop getting loosened after a while. You can see like it's kind of loose here. I feel like that's just also my lack of expertise in embroidering, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. So let's get on with the next step. Moving on to the next part, I'm just gonna thread my needle and we're gonna go ahead and start filling in the logo. So for the logo, I just kind of threaded it so that I went from one side of the logo to the other and then just filled it all in with the thread. For the actual threading, I don't really know what the name of this stitch is called, but I kind of just went up, out of the hoodie, back in on the other side, and then kept repeating that to fill it in. One tip for filling in, make sure that when you're going through with your thread that you're going as close to, if not straight through the outline, because otherwise it's just gonna look like there's holes. Oh my god, it's not perfect, but I am very happy with this. And I guess that means we can get started on the next logo. And so after the first logo, I just kind of took the old template with the right spacing, printed out another logo with just the one that I wanted to embroider, and then just did the whole process all over again. Looking pretty good so far. Gotta fill this guy in, put the last one, but we're 2 out of 3 so far. Now finally we have our third and last logo, and so again I'm just repeating the whole process, printing out a piece of paper, we're going to embroider the outline and then fill it in, and then we'll be done.
I'm a real big spender and a big tip giver. Not a star right now, but I'ma be a big ticket in the coupe. Two-seater, got a gas, check the meter. We just keep on going up and bringing everybody with us. It was me and Kid, bros, college kids with a passion. I done took a couple L's and learned a couple lessons. Had no money from the store.